Camagu, Tozani, Molweni, Dumelang. I am Gogo Kwakhanya and I welcome you to Safe Space where healing is made accessible. So if you are new here, please do stick around, and if you like the comment, feel free to subscribe, like, share, comment, and turn on those notification bells. And if you aren't new, well, you know the drill. I've already switched on the incense. Our energy is cleansed of all negative energy. So we can begin. Today, we're going to be discussing daddy issues. Just kidding, just kidding. We aren't discussing daddy issues, all right? So today's discussion is going to be a reflection diary on grief. So, grief. I've been contemplating doing a reflection diary like this for such a long time. But I believe I'm finally in the space where I can actually talk about it without, tearing up or something, having an emotional breakdown of some sort. So let's get into it. So you will notice that from time to time I will be looking down because I've got my notepad here. I really don't like to be rambling. I want us to discuss what we're here for, reflect, and waste no time, right? That's what we're here for. I really don't enjoy long videos. I don't think, and especially since, the times we're living in, who has that much attention span in the first place? No one does. So let's get into it. So in September 2021, my father passed away, and to be honest, I'm only now in a good space to talk about him without being an emotional wreck, like I've said. And throughout that time, one thing that was a key theme or a major theme throughout that time was how I was just constantly lying to myself for months on end, because I remember after 3 months of him passing away, I remember just posting on my WhatsApp status, writing, writing, oh, I'm in such a good space right now. I was sure that I had grieved, it was out of the way. Grief is so easy. Like, I did it like that. It's all done. No feelings, no tears whatsoever. But just going back to the day I found out, I remember crying on that day. It was just the most shocking news to find out. I wasn't expecting it at all, I guess, but my spiritual self knew before it happened. But when you aren't in alignment, there's so many things going on in your life, school, so I didn't pay much attention to the messages that I was receiving about it. So finding out was a huge shock to the system. So I did cry, and then came preparing the week of the funeral. Everything was chaotic. C for chaos, H for hectic. That's how it was like. So during that week, I did not cry at all. And I'm not exaggerating when I say at all. I did not even a single tear shed. More than anything, there was just so much going on. I didn't have the opportunity to. And coming back, when I did come back from the funeral, I just couldn't. I was forced to compartmentalize, put my feelings aside, put them in a little box to revisit later at a later stage when I do have the capacity to deal with my emotions and be present in them. So I put them aside. It was exam season soon. It was test after test. I need to prepare. There was just so many things, and the reason why I needed to compartmentalize was the fact that you need to face reality at times. Yes, you're faced with such terrible situations, you're put in such terrible situations without expecting them. But I mean, when it comes to grief, when someone has passed on, you can't bring them back, right? So I took the decision that, you know what, I'll revisit these emotions once I'm done writing. At least once that's done, I'm in my third year, it's the final stretch. Let me just finish writing and I'll come back to it, because it's not going to help me to fail when I'm almost done. Yo. It's not going to help me to fail. So let me just deal with what I can right now and I'll come back to it. But guess what? Guess what? Guess what? I was lying to myself. I didn't come back to it for until I was forced to revisit those emotions. Because, like I said, after 3 months, I'm posting on my status. I'm in a really good space right now, forgetting that at some point I was asking people on that very same status, those WhatsApp status, I was asking them, please pray for me. Oh, guys, grief is something else. It is something else. I was really in my feels. My emotions were all over the place, but I had to put them aside, focus on what was important at that moment, in which I believe, you know, being able to compartmentalize is important. It does help you in certain situations, but the problem is not going back to those emotions when everything that you needed to prioritize in that moment is done and over with, right? So that became a problem because I became very comfortable with not dealing with my emotions. And after that, I decided, yeah, I'm good. I'm going to start dating, right? Started dating, and that was when the person that I was seeing at that time really held up a mirror to me. And I guess that's the beauty of, you know, dating or having a connection with someone. They really give you the opportunity to see yourself as is. And having that mirror put in my face, I realized a whole lot of things. Number one, I was in denial. I was not prepared to have a connection that was beyond getting to know me, like beyond the surface level. Everything that required depth and actually getting to know me was off limits. I was very closed off. Had serious trust issues during that time. And the thing is that going in that, I was sure that I'm done with grieving. I'm good. It's over now. Only for it to crop up in a connection with someone. Things are going well, and then all of a sudden they're not going at all. It's just going downhill every day, and every single day I'm being forced to reflect because I'm seeing a different person, a person I thought I had healed from, but in fact now I'm just the opposite. I thought I was someone who believed in expressing themselves. All of a sudden, I'm just not doing that. I'm not here for it. You're just asking a lot from me if you're asking to get to know me on a really deep level. Let's laugh. Let's have on the surface conversations. Tell me about you, okay? Don't ask me about me. So I really started kind of losing myself a bit in all of that. So I was really in denial during that time, and that's when a series of tower moments, I guess a tower moment in tarot cards or tarot speaks about basically your life is falling apart, things are coming apart, so that they can be rebuilt. Change needs to happen, so a tower needs to happen. Things need to fall apart for you to level up, for things to change. So I was going through that period, excuse me. So things are falling apart. It's not great. It's not looking cute. I'm doing my honors year. Honors on its own is overwhelming. You know, So I'm dealing with these emotions. I'm dealing with academics, which is, I realized during that year that is a core part of who I identify as. So dealing with these things, it was a lot, man. It was a lot. And until I decided, you know what, I do not have the capacity to be in a connection with someone. So I dropped that, as well as I was volunteering during that time as well. I just found it overwhelming. Um, just hearing, as a telephonic counselor, so just hearing what people are saying and what they're going through was a bit triggering for me. It was too much during that time because I'm not even dealing with my emotions now. Here I am helping you, kind of guiding you, telling you where to go, how to go about things when I'm not even taking that advice. So it became too much. So I dropped that, I let go of that because even my mental health was just going down the drain day by day. It's not looking cute at all. Um, so during that time, so like during the first half of 2022, I basically turned into someone I don't recognize at all, especially when it came to things that were related to my father. It was just a trigger. You could be asking me the smallest thing, the smallest request, and you'd be setting me off. Um, I'm not here for a conversation. I'll just go quiet. If you're looking for a response from me, you're not going to get it. You weren't going to get it then. That's how it was. And I just started having, I was a very anxious individual the whole of, or majority of 2022, especially the first half. I was very anxious. I think I started taking anxiety meds because I just couldn't go about my day without feeling anxiety. And as someone who is spiritually gifted, anxiety most of the time is a sign of a lack of grounding, as well as a misalignment. So during that time, I'm going through these things. I'm not taking care of my spiritual self. I'm not taking care of myself physically as an individual. I'm overworking myself. All these things. So it's a matter of just like distracting myself. I'm not taking care of myself as an individual. So that's how it was. I was unbalanced during that time. So I would have anxiety attacks like randomly. Ah, isuke indaba nje. It was bad. That's how it was like. So, and on top of that, something very shocking that got to me was just the anger outburst. Like it happened once, and that was enough. I was shocked, like, okay, who is this person? Because I am generally a calm person. I'm pretty calm. I'm chilled. It's like, okay, don't stress it, you know? So, um, having so much anger and being set off like that in a matter of seconds, and could barely even control myself. It was like something was erupting during that time. So that was a huge shock to me. And the worst part is that I don't live alone. I live with my family, so they're experiencing this, and it's not nice. It's not nice when someone is taking out how they feel on you, and I mean, you haven't done anything. You're just trying to help, but in you helping seems like you're triggering, you upsetting me. That's how it was like, right? So I was down, man. Being you go. You see, when they say Yakoa going through the most, I was going through the most, man. So that's how it was like. And I remember, like, during that time, I would, oftentimes just cry myself to sleep, and then the next morning, just be up, go to campus. carry on with my day, repeat. So that's when I decided, this is no life to live. You know, I'm a student. I've got access to resources, free resources on campus. So I decided to go to psych ed. Went to psych ed, did the initial assessment, and then booked my very first therapy session. So I was pumped by that. I felt like, you know what, things are going to start looking up, even though I felt like, you know what, I need this session immediately, right now. I need it right now. I'm really in a dark space. I'm not sure if I even want to continue studying. Do I even want to pursue further studying? Which is a shock as well, because I love what I'm studying. I love my chosen career path. So, and me feeling like, you know what, I just need to just, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I'm not here for it. So that on its own was a wake-up call for me to reach out and ask for help. So after booking my first session, it was scheduled to be a month after I had booked. So that on its own was a bit disheartening. It was a mood kill, a serious mood kill, because I wanted to just go in head first. I didn't want to give it time to breathe. I wanted to deal with it right now. So in having that time period was just all the energy and just the drive towards my healing was like finally slow down, if you get what I'm saying. Fine, that happened, but then here comes the day of the actual therapy session, and I realized, oh my gosh, I've got a test during that time. I won't be able to make it. Now that means I have to book another session. I need to reschedule. When I reschedule, geez, I'm going to have to wait another month. Then I realized, this is not going to work for me. Mainly because, I mean, the campus that I am on is the main campus, meaning there's more students. So that means it's going to be difficult to get a booking unless you're going to get a booking at another campus. But for me, it just wasn't going to work. So I decided to go on the internet and find therapists nearby. Luckily, I found one. Really lovely lady, I must say. So okay, my thoughts have been collected. So my therapist, she still is my therapist even today. She really saw my ugly tears, ugly crying, like messy. Right now. Ooh, it's been bad. It has been terrible. But she has seen it all, and honestly, with each session coming out of that, I came out lighter. I came out with clarity. I came out with a sense of direction. I came out with, you know, just a positive outlook on my future, and I just started becoming more excited about what's to come. What do I want to do with my life? You know, all of those things. That's how I came out from every single therapy session. So, and just to name some of these realizations that I gained after each therapy session, which were, you know, as an individual, I tend to carry my storm with me everywhere I go. Meaning, if I'm in a really bad space, or I'm in a really bad space, you will know, you will feel it. It's in my aura. It's me. It's around me. That's the type of person I am. My storm, I can't leave my storm in another room and saying, you know what, I'll come back. When I come back home, yeah, the storm I'm going to the storm. I'm not that person. I carry my storm with me. So if I'm in emotional turmoil, you will feel it. It is me. So that's how it's like. And another realization was that sometimes you really need someone to help you organize your thoughts and feelings, because in that way they become less overwhelming and it becomes easier to see the road to your own healing. Because I remember in my first session, I came with multiple problems. I mean, I booked the session because of grief, right? But comes the first session, I'm naming 101 things that are my problems. I've got many problems, right? So I'm listing them all. And upon like talking with my therapist, we were able to group them to say, okay, you've named all these problems. Out of like 3 out of the 5 of these problems, they fall under grief. They fall under, you know, this issue. The others fall under school, maybe taking on too many things, you know. So instead of seeing them as 5 problems, I was able to see them as only 2 problems, if you get what I'm saying. So having someone else kind of like just speaking and having someone else help you organize all of these thoughts really helped me not feel like so overwhelmed, like I don't have much power in the situation. So it helped me regain my sense of power and a sense of direction in terms of, okay, how am I tackling this? How am I going to go about my healing? So it made healing feel more possible and less impossible, if you get what I'm saying. So that's how it was like. And when we take it even more further, when it comes to the other realizations that I came to, and is that I have is that I had really deep rooted issues when it comes to my father, daddy issues. That's how it was like. And despite him having passed on, with us being on a really great, having a really great relationship with one another, we were getting along, there was no drama or anything with him and I when he passed on. So finding out that he did pass on was, I felt abandoned, I felt robbed of my opportunity. It's like I finally have him now. I finally have this relationship. It's strong. It's going well. And then here comes the news that he's gone. And what am I supposed to do with that, actually? Like, what do you expect me to do with that? So that was painful. That was the real pain point, that I finally have this now. I'm abandoned again? Like, what do you mean by that? What do you mean? Give me the answers, because I don't have them. So those were some of the feelings. So I had to unpack those feelings as well throughout the sessions, as to where do they stem from, why did I get triggered, why did I get so angry during those times when his name would be brought up, even though we were in such a good space. So it really was a resurfacing of some of my previous emotions or feelings towards him before the point we were at in our relationship when he passed on. So that's how it was like. But then the biggest thing for me throughout, the sessions was that I am very self-aware, because half of the time I knew what was going on. But going back to what I was saying, you really need someone to help you organize your thoughts and feelings, to help you put them into perspective. It's one thing to know your feelings and to know what the issue is, but how you're going to deal with it and how you're going to work around it and figure things out and work towards your healing, it might be a challenge. So you need someone else. You need a third party. You need someone who's going to see it from a bird's eye view, going to see the bigger picture. And because when you're in that moment, you're only seeing a small portion of it. You're only seeing what's in front of you. So, but for me, it meant a huge deal to me to know that despite all of this, I'm self-aware, I'm in tune with myself, I'm in tune with my emotions and feelings. And despite maybe not wanting to share them with everyone, um so for me that was great, that I still had that, I was still in tune with myself. And then, but overall, the biggest thing that I can say, well, the biggest lesson that I can take from the whole grieving process was that the feeling of loss doesn't end, right? So I can never say that I'm done grieving, right? Or I've lost someone and that's that, right? So the feeling of loss doesn't end, but the intensity of the emotions associated with the loss decrease. And in that decrease, there is healing. And I'm glad to say that I am in that decrease. I am in that healing. The fact that I could talk about it for so long without shedding a tear. Yes, there were moments where, it's yo, but the fact that I didn't, that's what's important. That is the healing. That is the process. That is the progress of the process of healing. So in everything that you do, really, it's very important for you to be present in your emotions. Yes, compartmentalize for important things, but don't put it off for too long, because when it does come up, you're not going to be waiting for it. It's going to be unexpected. It might be in the worst of timing ever. So rather get to it before it gets to you, type of situation. Seek your healing before it seeks you. um that's what I can share with you. That's what I can leave you with, um when it comes to loss, your grief, how to go about it, how to make it easier in terms of navigating it. Those are my reflections, those are my lessons, and I'm just glad to be able to share them with you. I'm glad to be out of that dark pits, be able to share it with you. And that is it for this reflection diary. If you stayed this long and you enjoyed this video, please do subscribe, like, share, and comment, and turn on those notification bells. I am Gogo Kwakhanya.